Welcome everyone to our Resilience in Challenging Times series. It is a joy and an honor. And I'm just so excited to talk to Danielle LaPorte, the author of The Desire Map. Thank you, Danielle, for being part of this series.
Thanks for inviting me.
To begin with, how are you doing? What's going on for Danielle LaPorte in the midst of COVID-19?
Thanks for asking. I think we should be asking this of each other every interview ever. Waves of sorrow, cry a lot, feeling so useful, feeling resilient, feeling like everything prior, my life is already divided into a before and after. And I feel like everything before this was training for this. So I feel strong. I feel excited. I feel grief. I'm rooting for humanity. And personally, really got to take this one day at a time. I have a teenage son. We're cloistered up. And one day at a time is better than worrying about if we're going to be bike riding this summer.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you're feeling resilient, and I want to dig into that a little bit because the series is called Resilience in Challenging Times. And, you know, the word resilience, it's a little bit, in some ways, it can feel a little abstract. It's like one of those big words. It doesn't have the same kind of feeling quality as other words. So when you say when you're feeling resilient, what does that mean to you?
It means that I have my center. I feel connected to the divine. No matter what's going on. I have moments of slipping out. I mean, I've had moments of go to that place. It hasn't happened often, but like, why hast thou forsaken us? And then I have to question that. Do I feel forsaken by creation? No, let's like get back to center. So resilience for me is get back to truth, get back to truth, get back to love, get back to calm, get back to trust. It's just the coming home. I can come home. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to take a moment to ask you to put on your social visionary hat for a moment, and metaphoric hat, and knowing that you worked at a think tank for social change in Washington, D.C. during a period in your life, how are you viewing this situation, this time of disruption from the virus, as a social change opportunity?
I have been drawing a lot on my think tank day tools. And what I learned there was you have multiple scenarios that you plan against, and you've got to have a worst case scenario. Like I love worst case scenarios. I have them all the time in my business and my relation. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You just drill down and you scream. It's like the worst thing that happened. I do this, I'm still here. So, I think we should plan for the worst, expect the best, know that this will bring out the best in humanity and it will bring out the worst. We are resilient. We are loving. We are compassionate. More than that, or in addition to that, we all hold, I think we have a similar or a joining vision of what we believe to be ideal. I think we all, if we all got together in a room, we'd say, oh, that's my version of ideal as well. That's how I define beautiful. So I think we're going to find our commonalities. I think, you know, to put it in Barbara Marx Hubbard terms, one of the original futurists, this crisis is a birth. There isn't any birth that comes free of pain or sorrow. And I think this is about, I mean, now I'm moving away from scenario planning into consciousness, but this is really a call for non-dualism. This is about bothness. Like right now in my own being, I feel tremendous sorrow. I have fears for my own reality, my own life. Right next to, I'm so excited right now. I'm pumped. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, I'm excited for what's already being born. And it's painful. Yeah.
Let's talk about the fears that you might have, and I think our listeners might have. And I know that you offer a business resilience, well, let's see, what is it called? here that you're offering an online program, virtual business retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to ask you about that is in the context of training people virtually in business. I'm sure resilience is a huge theme for business people right now. I know it is for me. And how are you viewing that? And in working with other entrepreneurs, people who have staffs, I know you have a staff of 17 people. How do we orient ourselves both realistically and to be inspiring leaders of businesses?
On the surface, like navigating, you have to adapt without resentment. So the resentment and being cranky about, oh, this is where we are and I have to do this and stretch, it's just going to hold you back. So part of being present is this is what's required now. So this is what's required now. We show up in this way. For some of us, it's real practical changes. We're showing up online. We're moving into a digital space, working with your team differently. Yeah. But for all of us, new kind of leadership is required, and it's heart-centered leadership. It's like, leadership is you asking me at the beginning of this interview, which we probably wouldn't have done in an interview 6 months ago. How are you handling the world situation? We've been in a world situation for centuries. So there's heart check-ins with my own team. I'm making sure that our humanity is there. So everybody, let's talk about the sorrow. And let's talk about the practicalities now in business meetings. We all get on Zoom like we've been doing for years. And we're like, everybody got food? So what are the basics? What's it look like for us to plan for the worst? And how do we rise without any panic? So what I've said to my team is, okay, let's look at all the various scenarios and let's plan against them from a place of, we got this, from a place of confidence. That's resiliency. Like, the worst could happen, so let's be prepared. Not out of, I'm scared I'm going to lose all this stuff, but like, I can do this. I can adapt. I can change. And we're going to show up and we're going to be love no matter how tough things get. We're going to show, if I'm taking, my personal experience has been every little fear I've had, every pain point I'm experiencing is connecting me to somebody else just connecting me to somebody else, period. But it's somebody else with more pain or a different kind of pain. Last week, I was worried about my groceries arriving. Things are very chaotic in the food system right now. And I thought, well, I'm still good. There's somebody right now who's worried about food at all. And I let that moment soften me and connect me. And that's what we're doing as a digital business. We're in 5 different countries. In the wellness space, we're letting our pain connect us to other people. There's no pretense anymore. This is not the time for pretense. This is not the time for ambition. This is not the time for goal setting. This is just the time to show up as love. And we are also looking at, part of our scenario planning is looking at loss. So as a business, what happens if we don't make any money? What happens if I can't pay my girls because on a global level, people don't have the money to pay for my $30, $20, $5 meditations? We'll adapt. What happens if I lose my house? I'm okay. I'll still be okay. There'll be a place to live. And I'm also taking great comfort in all the loss that is happening, that could happen. We're all going to be in it together. There's going to be, the system will adapt to this. And then back to the personal, and this works for my team. I'm thinking about losing my life. Like, I'm just going to I'm using this as the extreme to like cleanse, purge what's in my way. What are my fears? Let's just go to the ultimate. So right now my conversation is about death, really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting to me, Danielle, is I think some people might say, stay positive. And you're actually saying, no, let's look right at the worst possibility, whether that's losing my house or getting ill and dying. And tell me how you are finding looking at the worst possible outcome being something that actually is resulting in energy and confidence. Because I think a lot of people would say there's no energy and confidence in that. That's what brings me down the drain, is when I look at the worst case scenarios.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's, for me, 360-degree view is consciousness. This is the best of self-agency. This is waking. I mean, this is a call for all of us. Pull your head out of the sand. Our own world, our bucket lists that for so long have just included us. Look at what's happening around us and say, okay, all these things could happen. All these things are happening. I feel aware. I feel awake. I feel intuitive. I feel divinely guided. I feel spiritually mature. I feel equipped. I mean, that's what a leader does, is they look at all the possibilities. And then from there, you choose the one you want. So a possibility is, I could die of this. Is that what I want to have happen? No, I'm going to choose life. So I see the potential detour. I see the block. I'm going to go this way. So I'm making life affirming choices. I'm connecting with people more. I'm meditating more. I'm talking to the infinite about death. I'm letting go of grievances. I'm over, just in the last 2 weeks, I'm over so much that I've been trying to get over. Just, you're forgiven. You're off the hook. I forgive myself. That's what happens when you look it in the eyes. And this is just, the situation we're in it's our darkness on steroids. I mean, we've been living in a crisis for decades and not looking at it. And this is part of why this situation is a pandemic. It seems to be out of control because so many things have gone unchecked. We haven't looked so many situations in the eye. And I think some of that, as you brought up, some of the resistance to looking at it directly is, I don't want it to bring me down. Well, get real. It should bring you down. Go down to the depths of it. Have the courage to be in the sorrow, because that's also where the strength is and the light. That, the soil it's fertile soil down there.
Help people appreciate how the strength and the light is in the deep sorrow, because I don't think that's necessarily intuitively obvious to that person who's like, look, I don't want to, I'm staying up here, not looking at those things, because that's how I get my capacity to function in my life. If I do that, I'll be buried in there. And Danielle's saying, no, that's where the strength and light comes from.
You can only believe other heroes who have done it. This is why we need each other. This is why we need to turn to our elders. Anybody who's been through, before these, the passage we're in, anybody who's been through their own dark night of the soul has come out the other side and been changed, because lots of people go through it and don't get changed. We could go through this. I mean, this is my fear, is we could go through this and nothing's going to be different when we get to the other side, or it will be worse. It could be so much better. But when you look to the wisdom keepers and say, I did the journey, I went down, I lost my mind, I was on my knees, I fought for my life, and I let myself surrender to the sorrow, I intentionally entered the forest at the darkest point. I got through, and I'm more radiant and more resilient and clear and of more service. And I have more joy because I did that. That's the only lifeline a lot of us might have right now. Really? I'm terrified of doing this. You're telling me to go down with it? And some of us, I have my own people wiser than me on the outside saying, go down. Like, okay, I'm going to go down. That's it. That's love. Trust me. I went there. You can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is one of the things I was interested in including in this conversation. Without getting into the details, I know over the last few years, you've been to hell and back would be one way to put it, but that you've suffered a lot. And I wanted to understand how you feel very specifically for you that changed you and in a way to prepare you for this time. Puts you in a different place now.
It had me surrender. It built my trust in creation and God and spirit and something bigger than me. I think I could have gone through everything I'd been through, the health stuff, the crisis of consciousness, and not have been changed. I could have come through that, got everything back in order, got all my ambitions realigned, still want all these things, not gonna will it to happen. And there's still been some of that. But really the living death, me being on the other side, it's not complete. I still struggle, but it's so much more, thy will be done. Okay, show me what to do today. So I'm still in that place of, and this is the beauty of the pressure of this. So I got through my dark night. I saw the light. The light for me was, life has got me. I'm going to let life direct my course. The terror that still comes up sometimes is, what is life going to ask me to let go of in order for me to be served and to be of service? Still struggle with that every day. And that's the pressure I'm experiencing now. What do I have to let go of now to show up and to go through this passage? I got to let go of my grievances. I got to let go of that ridiculous pattern I have with that particular person. I've got to let go of thinking God's going to punish me for not showing up in a certain way. I have to let go of any paradigm I have around a punitive God. And I have to let go. I'm getting down to the bottom of the barrel here. I've lived in fear around my respiratory system for decades because I have very sensitive lungs. I have a history with asthma. This is the perfect time to let go of fear around respiration. I'm going to do it. Okay, let's go even deeper, Danielle. What if I let go of my fear of dying? Okay, I'm trying to do it. I think I might have done it. It's crazy. I have a son. I want to be here. So if I can let go of all those things, what's left? I'm left. My soul is still left. Consciousness is still here. I've had to think about, is it my son's karma or dharma to live without a mother this lifetime? Maybe that's life's will. I don't know. Is that what I want? No. But I'm looking at all of those things and I'm choosing what I want. I can't be desireless. I've had to talk to many Buddhists about this. Can I be without desire? No. So I still have desires. My true desires, I think, are emerging in this compost. Yeah, I want to live. But how would I know I wanted to live if I didn't get to, I'm willing to die and even leave, if God says leave your child because that's his karma, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
so. I'm wondering what guidance you could give to that person who's listening, who's saying, I need to use this time to really get clear about what I need to let go of. How do they go through that investigation?
Well, first of all, just ask that question. So a lot of us right now are in this mode of, I'm going to make the most of this time and I'm going to clean my cupboards and organize my photos online, all of that. That's great. That's cool. I get that. I'm doing all of that too, but that's up here. That's busy. That's still kind of avoidance. So first step, just use this opportunity to go deeper into your being. So what I'm doing is I'm doing more journaling than I've ever done and just asking really basic questions. Why is this happening? What do I need to let go of? What's irritating me? It's all going to be there for every one of us, just in one day at home for most of us who are retreating and sequestering ourselves. All your relationship stuff, still there. All the stuff you were afraid of last year, all your vanity, everything you want to manipulate, everything you're desirous of, it's all still there. So just in one day, what's pushing your buttons? What are you afraid of? What are you longing for? And write about it. And I know a lot of us are experiencing discomfort around being still. Hey, that's the challenge every meditator is going to face at some point. First time you sit down to be contemplative. Might be the beginning of your contemplative path right now, but everybody's got to go through it. Everybody's got to sit with monkey mind. So you're not alone. And now's the time. And here's the one thing I could offer. This isn't a how-to, it's more of a plea. Like, I'm willing to beg people to move into stillness right now. I'm begging you on behalf of Mother Earth, on behalf of humanity. Please don't worry about organizing your drawers so much right now. Just put that at, that's your second priority. First priority, be with your heart and be with the big questions.
Danielle, this is a bit maybe of an odd question to ask you, but as a gift to our listeners, would you actually bring us into a short stillness meditation that we could do with you?
Yes, let's
Can we do it? Can we do it together?
Yeah, we can do it together. Okay, so your breathing is natural, and you're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And then in your mind's eye, as far, far above you as you can see, high in the sky, you see a point of light. And that point of light is slowly descending towards you. The closer it gets to you, the more aware you become that it is an orb of light. It's full of life force, of prana. It's a sun just for you. Dynamic solar flares. Comes down, hovers about 21 feet above you. It's as large as you want it to be, as bright as you want it to be. You really bask in those rays of light shining down on you. And then you bring all your attention to your heart space. This is all a call to return to the heart. Your breathing's natural. And then we're going to bring in some color frequencies. It's 3 colors. Light pinks, flowing in your heart, very alive. You bring in some shimmering golds. Then you bring in some ribbons of white. Light pinks, shimmering golds, and whites in your heart space, and you just breathe in. And then you ask yourself how you're feeling, and you state this to yourself in the mode of witness. So rather than saying, I am sad, you would say, I am witnessing sadness. And the list can go on. I am observing connection. I am experiencing grief. I am observing gratitude. Then you move into gratitude. What are you grateful for right now and why? I'm grateful for a healthy body because I can show up and serve. I'm grateful for water, for life. Grateful for connection. Keeps me alive. And then you make a declaration to yourself. You take one virtue, one higher vibration feeling that you want to be feeling. And you declare this to yourself in an I am statement. So I'll use myself as an example. I am unity. I am love. I am generous. So what's that virtue that you want to embody? You're feeling it in your heart space. And then you ask that heart space. Remember, it's full of those colors, those dynamic colors, the light pinks and the golds and the whites. What's the message from your heart? It's typically very simple. When you breathe into your heart, remember that you can call on that light source above you any time of the day, all throughout the day. That sun above you is a symbol of the encapsulation. You're encapsulating the light that is always there. It's just a reference point for the energy that's all around you. And you breathe in and come back.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you. The word that came to me was trust. And it's a beautiful word. And it reminded me of a quote that I saw in your writing. there is nothing passive about having faith, a different word, but one that's very similar to the word trust. But in your writing, faith is the work in light work.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to understand, what does it mean to you to work in the name of faith? What's the work part of that?
Mm-hmm. The work part is being vigilant with your thoughts. So you're going to have doubt. You're human. We're human. If you didn't have doubt, you wouldn't need faith. Like, I think maybe in this lifetime, I'll get to a place beyond faith where it's just knowingness. It's all good. It is what it is. But right now I need faith. And so the work of it is, the doubt arises. I see it. I look it in the eye. I smell it. Why are you here? What are you affecting? Okay. I sit at the back of the bus. I'm going to choose a different thought. I'm going to choose a thought that helps me be faithful. So I'm doubtful about the day. I might go crazy. My lungs. Am I going to lose my house? Okay. Got it. Heard you. Paying attention. I have faith in my ability, in the adaptability and the resiliency of my body. It's gotten me this far. I'm faithful. Thank you, body. I am faithful in my ability to be creative, always find a way. I am faithful in my fellow humans. We're loving, we're kind, we're innovative. I'm faithful in the higher reason for this. So doubt, choose a thought, gets you to faith. Be in the faith.
Mm-hmm. I also wanted to circle back because you quoted Barbara Marx Hubbard, the futurist, about how it's possible that this time could be a birth, mm-hmm. and that births always come with, labor, and they can be painful. And what is the birth that you see is possible? What does the new baby, our collective life, possibly look like?
Mm-hmm. It looks like unity. It looks like people over profits. It looks like universal health care. It ironically looks like trust. And by ironic, I mean like our faith is being so tested right now. Ironically, it looks like unity when we're in a time of physical distancing. It looks like caring about our neighbors more. It looks like what I'm calling inclusive manifesting. So instead of having these really myopic dreams for ourselves, like the basics, we're still allowed to want all these things, but instead of just wanting to make more stuff and have stuff that's just going to make me happy, how about our dreams and our visions include green forests and healthy respiration systems for everybody, and putting on your vision board happy neighbors and cleaned up neighborhoods. It looks like more people living more reflective lives. I hope there's more contemplation. My prayer is it looks like more devoted living, more devotion to higher love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then just to end, Danielle, I would love for you to tell the Sounds True audience a bit about the heart-centered online community that you've created. You talk about it as a nourishment system. Mm-hmm. And I think right now people need nourishment for their hearts. So tell us a little bit about heart-centered.
It's funny to talk about the things that I offer right now because I'm so sensitive of, I don't want to sell anything during a time of crisis, except that everything I've been working on the last 20 years is about reflective living, and it's more needed than ever in a time of crisis. So, what I created, Heart Centered launched earlier in 2020, and it's basically a system for devotion. So every month there is a focus on a virtue. Basically, we're focusing on higher love. And there's a meditation that we work with for 8 weeks. Or there might be a prayer and there's a poem. And there's one practice every month that we do on behalf of the earth. And it could be a water prayer. It could be how you relate to soil. And then there's interaction. So I show up every couple weeks to just preach and pray and offer everybody's questions up as like, this is the pulse point. If Susie in Idaho has this question, I know that, you know, Susan in Poland has the same pain point. Yeah, heart-centered. And I think this is the call all the times for us to get heart-centered. And actually, you know, my one final, like one quick tool. So, you know, what we just did is called the heart centering practice, but even more accessible and easy to remember for everybody. Just bring all the pain into your heart mind, everything, every worry, every dilemma, every tense moment right now. Breathe into your heart. Your heart is its own intelligence, and that's where we need to go. All the solutions are there. All the calm is there. Back to the heart, back to the heart.
What would you say to that person who says, you know, that's too painful. That's really painful. When I breathe all of that, everything that's up for me into my heart, that hurts too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that.
I would say, keep going. Keep going. It hurts. It's like, it's that stretch when you're with your physiotherapist. It's the same pain. It's that difficult conversation. It's the same kind of pain. You do the stretch, you have the conversation, you get to relief. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Mm-hmm.
Danielle, thank you. Thanks so much for being heart-centered. I couldn't help but notice, you know, these curtains behind me, which, truth be told, everyone, I'm in my bedroom. Danielle's not, she's in her home up there in British Columbia, but these are they're pink and gold. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you know.
Living in heart.
Indeed. And for those who are interested to learn more about Danielle's work and her work with Heart Centered, you can check out DanielleLaPorte.com. And just grateful that you're part of our Resilience in Challenging Times series and for our connection. And thanks everyone for being with us. SoundsTrue.com, waking up the world. Thank you.
Thank you.